Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another pick a card reading today. So I am in my bedroom, on my bed, doing this reading. My kids are home on the computer, so I just decided to come in and do the reading on my bed. So welcome, and I felt called to do another reading today. I did one earlier today, but I would like to ask Spirit where is our connection headed, or where is the connection with your person headed. So I'd like to ask Spirit for guidance in that question, and do another pick a card reading for you. So I will start laying out the cards into their piles, and we can begin. So I'll do the normal 3 piles. All right, and I'm going to use, so that was the Light Seer's Tarot that I put down. I'm going to grab a couple Mystic Moon Oracles, Mystic Moon Oracle cards. We'll also, Mystic Moon deck again, also Twin Flame message cards. So I'll pick a few from here as well. Instead of reaching for the Romance Angels, I thought I'd use the Power of Love activation cards, and I will have the information for all of these cards down below. I just want to do, that one wanted to jump out, but if it comes out again, we know it was meant to be. I'm going to do 1 for each. Alright, and I don't even know if you can see these. Oops. Alright, so we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And I will give you a minute to pick your pile. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with the message for pile number 1. Here are your cards. So pile number 1, where is this connection going? And this is your reading. So we have first the Fool. Oops, sorry. Just realized you can't see those. So the Fool. The 10 of Wands. The Temperance card. And I'm going to push those up. Commitment. Third Party. Bound. And your messages: I want to be authentic. I am no longer afraid. I should have been more honest with you about how I was feeling at the time. I feel damaged, like I just can't do this. And detachment. You are releasing old patterns and ideas that no longer serve your highest ideals of love. So pile number 1, where is your connection headed? So I do feel like this could be a third-party relationship or third-party connection. We do have a third-party card here right in the center of the spread. And so some of you maybe, because I always feel like when this comes out, somebody's automatically thinking, well, maybe they have another person. And that doesn't necessarily always have to be the case. It could be just another party that is involved in the situation that has an influence on the direction of this connection. So in this instance, it could be another person, definitely. It could be another lover. But it could also be an external influence, such as a family member, a parent, a mother, family in general. It could be work. It could be just anything really that would get in the way of your connection, maybe being able to progress to its fullest. So the third party card is here. So there is some type of external influence. I feel like at the moment, this connection may be enduring some challenges because of this third party. We have the Ten of Wands here. And I feel like in the past, you or they felt like this relationship would move on to a commitment. Or maybe you were at that stage, or you are in that stage of having a commitment and then a third party coming into the picture. The Fool card for me is like a new opportunity. Sometimes this can be, the Fool card can come out with a third party energy, indicating that this is kind of a new adventure with this third party. Or it could even be just taking that leap of faith into a commitment with this person, or feeling like you wanted to take that leap of faith with the person, or with your person, your connection. I think for now, they are pretty much going to stay, or things are pretty much going to stay where they're at. So if this is a third party situation, whether you're the third party or and your person has a committed partner, if you're the third party, things aren't going to change. They're going to remain with their committed relationship. They do feel like there are ties there, like it's something that they can't get out of, which we know isn't true. Anybody can choose to release those bonds, although it may be difficult for some people, but leaving situations is possible if there is enough willpower to do so. I do feel like they are burdened with where they or this connection is at. With the Temperance card here, I feel like so the first thing I'm seeing is I am seeing if if you look at these two cards, there are angels in these cards, or figure of an angel. Obviously, one is dark and one is light. And then we have the dark and the light. So I feel like this is it's a back and forth cycle. And it's a cycle right now that they just do not feel like they are able to release. So on your part, or however these energies are playing out in your situation, really, you would really need to look at how you want to see this play out. We have the detachment card here. I think you are seeing that this might be an unhealthy situation, regardless of what type of third-party energy is here. If it's family that is hindering your relationship, you're still seeing that that is, in essence, toxic. And with the Temperance card here, it is that kind of like mixing of light and dark energies. There are good times and bad times. And if this is a relationship that you're going to keep, then it's kind of learning how to take the good with the bad, or understanding that there is bad with the good, and learning to manage that situation. But we have the Detachment card here, so I think that this is something that your higher self is realizing needs to happen, or at least that's the message that Spirit is sending in, that there's got to be some sort of detachment that happens here, whether that's a detachment from this relationship as it is because of the toxicity, or whether it's a detachment, if it's your person learning to detach from this external situation that is hindering your furthering the commitment in your relationship. Something needs to go, because there is an element of toxicity here. So it's learning to release the old patterns and realize that they do not serve your highest good. So releasing those burdens there with the Ten of Wands. I like these messages down at the bottom. I want to be authentic. I am no longer afraid. So I think somebody here is realizing that there is a level of toxicity, and that really the only way to release the bonds, the toxic bonds, is to be authentic, to have the tough conversations, and not to be afraid. Not to be afraid of what happens with a possible detachment. I should have been more honest with you about how I was feeling at the time. So if this is truly a third party and there is another person involved with your person, maybe it was something that they didn't tell you about. Maybe it was something that you didn't find out about until after some time. Maybe you found out you were the third party, or you found out they have another connection outside of your relationship. But there was a level of dishonesty here. Dishonesty with them not being truthful. Well, that is dishonesty, but they just did not, they were not truthful about their feelings with you. Then I feel damaged, like I just can't do this. So they are suffering. They are suffering. If they have another person in this connection, they feel the hurt. They know that they're hurting somebody in this situation. So they feel hurt. They feel damaged. And many times third-party situations there's just no way around that hurt in those types of situations. So I think Spirit here is asking you to look at detaching, whether it's a temporary detachment or permanent detachment. But as for where your connection is headed, I see that your person isn't wanting to release. So I think you're being called to do this work. Or of course, this is vice versa. Somebody's not wanting to detach. And I think Spirit is asking that somebody take a second look at this situation and try to do the work. So, all right. So that is the conclusion of reading number 1. Let's go ahead and move on to the message for reading number 2. So pile number 2, this is your message. Where is this connection headed? And we have the Page of Pentacles, the Three of Swords, the Knight of Cups, grief, fall, fear. Then we have I'm more affected than you know. I'm in a much better headspace now. I don't know how I feel anymore. And creativity. You love to devise new ideas, innovations, and forms of illumination. All right. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, so pile number 2. Where is this connection headed? So there is some heartbreak here with the Three of Swords. There's definitely some heartbreak. I don't know if you guys can see all the cards. I think you can for the most part. So there's some heartbreak here. With the Fall card here, I almost wonder if there was some profound type of change that happened in your relationship around the different fall months this past fall. And there definitely was some grief. Interesting set of cards. So your relationship, this has been definitely, there was some heartbreak, and I'm looking at the Page of Pentacles, but this is like a relationship of learning. Learning pains is kind of what I'm feeling. These 3 cards right here. This represents to me learning pains. So, I'm sorry you can't see. In these 2 cards, definitely, there's a lot of pain here. And here I feel like there is a sense of, there was learning and growing and development there. But she's also on one foot. So I think she is learning to balance or even navigate her way through this situation. So some of the lessons that you might have learned in this connection may have been They may have been some pretty hard lessons. Maybe around the time of fall, something profound happened in this connection. The Three of Swords can sometimes be like a breakup. So maybe you broke up during the fall. And now that some time has passed, I'm almost seeing that somebody here wants to rekindle this connection. And somebody may be afraid to do so. Somebody might be afraid of taking that first step in reaching out or in trying to rekindle a connection. So I think there's some fear here. I think they will try. They will definitely, somebody here in this connection is going to try, put some effort in and send their declaration of love. And they might even do so somewhat creatively. He's kind of in this creative type space also. If you look at the picture, he's got this like spread here, there's a love note and a picnic, and he's got roses, and he's staged this setting so that it's somewhat hard to reject him. It's like this overly display or show of love, which I almost feel like they might come towards you with some creative show or display of love when they come back and try to rekindle this connection. I'm more affected than you know. So it was something that they were definitely bothered about. Whatever issues and problems you had in your relationship, they were very affected by what happened. They do feel like they're in a much better headspace now, though. They have had some time to heal. Like I said, if this happened in the fall time, give or take 6 months ago, they've had some time to heal. And they've had some time to think. And there's still a little bit of fear. They're still a little bit afraid of coming forward and taking that first step. But I think they're inching their way. Just a little bit closer. I don't know how I feel anymore. So maybe they're starting to or beginning to feel the impact that your presence has had on them. So maybe some of the more negative feelings that they had in your past connection, or the reasons that they fought so strongly against you. I don't know why that's coming up either, but maybe they're just feeling like they could bend a little bit on it now, and they don't know why they took that stance. Maybe they're questioning why they dug their heels in so much. And I think part of that is because they really feel the pain. They really are feeling the heartbreak and the pain. This girl looks like she's in an immense amount of pain. But maybe it is because they are just feeling that pain now, and they're just asking themselves, like, why did I dig my heels in? Was it really worth it to lose this connection? And so sometimes the Three of Swords also points to like a third party situation. And the Page of Pentacles can be like, it's definitely like the start of a new relationship. So they could have started something and had a third party. And if that is your situation, if it was a third party situation, I think you might need to be a little bit careful, just because although the Knight of Cups, and I guess this goes either way around, whatever your situation is, the Knight of Cups is, he's full of love messages, and he's got this great grand gesture of a romantic picture here, but he's not fully mature. The Knight of Cups can be somewhat immature, although he's sending messages of love, and he can be a little bit of a player, usually in the reverse, if he's in a reverse position. I don't normally read reversals, but when I do see the Knight of Cups, I always keep in mind the Knight of Cups is not a king, or even a queen. So he is a little bit more of a more immature energy. We also do have the Page of Pentacles, which is definitely immature energy. So it might have been a third party situation. And if this person does come back around, I would say be careful, just because the Knight of Cups isn't that mature level of the cup suit. So be careful, be cautious. Maybe that's what the fear card here is indicating. Maybe just use some caution. I think they did have some grief in the past. As for the future of the connection, I think the person might come back around. I think that you just need to use caution and kind of keep your distance at first. That's kind of what I heard. Keep your distance, let them do a lot of the work, let them do a lot of the making up, if there is making up here that needs to be done. They don't know how they quite feel. I'm also seeing another point of view with this, but this is kind of immature energy also. I don't know how I feel anymore. So maybe they go back and forth and they're just not 100% sure, but I think that they might have some type of grand gesture in there for you, trying to creatively sneak back in. So I guess I do see this situation a couple different ways. Some of it I do see is them having gone through this grief and this pain and this heartache, and them realizing that they have lost you. But then I also do see with the Knight of Cups here that that's somewhat of an immature energy, especially with these two cards here, indicating somewhat of a immature, or actually it's these three cards. These three cards were the ones that were kind of screaming to me immature, an immature person. So just be careful. I think some caution in this situation is recommended. Yeah, just be careful. I feel like they will come back. But, yep, this is reading number 2. And let's move on to reading number 3. So, pile number 3. Where is your connection headed? Let's look at your tarot cards. So, the first card we have is the Chariot. And oops, that's not the Page of Pentacles. That's the Two of Pentacles. And the Knight of Swords. And we have from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck, we have Awakening, Fresh Start, Dark Night of the Soul. And from Mystic Moon, Twin Flame Messages, we have, I can't seem to find the right words to say to you. You are an angel. Seeing you reminds me of the things I know deep down, and that's not always easy to deal with. And from the Power of Love cards, we have Expression. You are ready to manifest your thoughts and transform them into acts of love. So, Dark Night of the Soul. That's pretty intense energy. And what actually popped out to me right as I was laying the two cards down was and actually I'm looking now, but there's three. Single solitary image here. This part, and these two, they have their backs turned, and you can't really see this person. He's Dark Night of the Soul. So I feel like he's running away from something, and he is reflecting on something. And there's pain here. So I feel like that's kind of the story. I think there was some going back and forth about things. In 1 minute, out the next. So I think that was some back and forth energy, some juggling happening. The Chariot, forward moving, fast moving energy. This is also a card of fast movement, the Knight of Swords. So whatever happened in this situation, I think it happened quickly. There might have been some travel involved. We have the Chariot card as a card of travel here, and this guy's running over to his motorcycle. So we do have some travel cards here, fast moving energy. And a fresh start. So these two cards kind of show to me that there's been awakening, that a fresh start was needed, or a new start, new growth, new opportunity. And it's funny that the Dark Night of the Soul is over on this side, because usually I see it on the in the past, having an awakening and then a fresh start. But you know, somebody might have turned their back on something. I feel like somebody might have turned their back towards a new start, but are starting to feel some repercussions for having made that decision. Or maybe there's somebody here that has realized they need a fresh start, but they know that there's going to be some pain and sadness that goes along with that fresh start. It's not going to be an easy situation to let go of or get over. The Expression card, it does say that you are ready to manifest your thoughts and transform them into acts of love. So I think that there has been some type of awakening here, and an inner knowing that there's a need for a fresh start. Letting go of this back and forth mentality, juggling, letting that go and leaving something behind. And in this awakening, somebody has realized that there's victory in this new start. So I can't seem to find the right words to say to you. So maybe that's why somebody is reflecting. They just don't know what to say, didn't say them because they didn't know how to say it. They're too afraid, or maybe they didn't even really know how they felt yet. You are an angel. Seeing you reminds me of the things I know deep down, and that's not always easy to deal with. This to me speaks of a person who has done something in the past that they're not proud of. They may have, well, like I said, turned their back on you. Maybe they know that they've broken your heart and left you in this energy. And they're not proud of that. They know they feel horrible for leaving you in this energy. Or maybe they're in this energy because of the things that they've done and the things that they know they've done. And now they're feeling the repercussions. And I had wishy-washy ways. I don't know why, like, wishy-washy ways. So I think the positive side of this situation is that there is the opportunity for a fresh start here. And it's up to you how your story plays out from here, because you have this opportunity and you can make it whatever you decide it will be. You're ready. You're ready to manifest your thoughts. You are ready to manifest and transform your thoughts and dreams into acts of love. So, whatever lessons have been learned in this situation, I think you're realizing it, or they have realized, you have realized, you both have realized that maybe right now is not the time, and maybe you just need to focus on this new start. As painful as it is, I think that's where your focus needs to be. I think your focus needs to be on these cards right now, because this is something that you or they have decided. It's like storm clouds clearing. There's the clarity here in this picture. I don't know if you can see that, but the storm clouds are clearing. There's clarity in that picture. And I'm even feeling or getting a sense of the coolness in the air in that picture. Knowing that there's this opportunity for a fresh start and new beginnings. And you are an angel in their eyes. So take your lessons from this relationship and figure out what is important to you and where you want to go. And make it happen. Maybe express it. Because they didn't know what words to say to you here. Or maybe this is your energy. Maybe you don't know what to say to them. Someone here doesn't know what to say. And I think you're being called to express. Express yourself. So take the lessons. Maybe you were forced into this fresh start. Here I do see somebody still trying to mend the past or to heal the past. So I think that's where you're headed in this connection. I think some healing needs to happen. Some grief needs to happen there in that energy also. And coming to terms with the things that were hard to speak about, or the things that were hard to talk about, because we have this underlying theme here of expression and expressing yourself, your feelings and your thoughts. So I think this pile has learned some lessons, and I think there's still some healing that needs to be done here. Yeah, so that's what I have for reading number 3. I thank you so much for joining me for this pick a card reading today, and hope you will join me for others. And please, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe.